Episode 3 podcast. Yay!
Episode 3. Welcome everybody. We got a full cast today, which is super awesome. We have Zara Knight back at it on our podcast.
Returning.
Yep. You guys, sorry, could I just correct you guys for a second? Because you guys are saying Zara Knight. It's actually Sarah Knight with a pronunciation.
I've been wrong this whole time.
Get it mixed up,
just called Riku. Come on, you're just.
All right, that's the last episode of the podcast.
Everyone
should have said so earlier. My bad.
Okay, Sarah Knight. Okay. Well, I guess we're canceled.
Sarah Knight.
Sarah Knight. Yeah, like Serenade, but like Sarah Knight.
Got it.
Good word.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take that.
Episode 3 of the podcast with Sarah Knight as a returning member, and then we have co-host.
But you guys said,
Vanessa.
see, that's the thing. You guys said it right last week.
Oh,
which is so weird.
You
know,
you guys said it right last week. It's just this week it went back. It went to Zara Knight for some reason.
A lot happened today. Okay.
That happens. You know, I'm bad with names, anyways. I'm not surprised that I messed it up.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, most people just call me Way, right? That's so.
And we can do that too.
No way. Okay, so.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna ruin that.
I get that a lot too.
I'm gonna lose my privileges.
And then they're always like, oh, do you ever get this? Do people ever like pun your name? I'm like, yeah, like every day.
Oh my gosh. And also we have a special guest today. MissGandaKris. What do you mean? Oh wait. What do you mean? Oh wait. What is happening, Riku?
I tried to
aim
okay
down.
Over there? Yes, I am okay. Leave me alone.
He's had a very long weekend.
Yeah,
apparently.
Yes. Facts.
Apparently. But yes, we have the Nintendo ambassador, MissGandaKris, which is also my sister. So welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
My IRL sister. I have to say that. My IRL sister.
We are a lot of related.
You know what's funny? Because we get this a lot, right, Christine? What's funny is that people don't know we're sisters, but then the moment they know, see, exactly. But then the moment they know that we are, or they see us in person, they're just like, "Oh my god, you guys are like twins!" And I'm like, "What?"
No,
you get that all the time.
Thing for me too. I get that too with my sister. It's the most bizarre thing. People can't tell until you say you're sisters, and then all of a sudden you're twins.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah, I don't get that with my brother. It's like, I just get, hey, you look like Eddie Murphy, or hey, you look like Will Smith. I'm like, how do I look like Eddie Murphy? Because I have an afro. Hello, what? This is why I shave my facial hair. This is why. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
but Christine, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do in the gaming industry?
I am a Nintendo brand ambassador.
You guys are a disaster.
I love how she's asking this question. I feel like I try to do so much, and it's so hard to just define it all really quickly, because I actually hate like spanning on what I do, because I just feel like I just do too much, and you spread myself so thin. But if I had to say, I'm a Nintendo brand ambassador. I do some DIYs for their social media. Sometimes we go on trips when it was safe to do so. We would actually promote some of their games and stuff. And then I stream and do YouTube videos. Yeah. So that's my life.
That's a lot.
Yeah. She does a lot. She's always in her room crafting things.
Yes, these 4 walls.
These 4 walls. No, what was that, Sarah Knight?
What sort of things do you craft?
Oh, so I do a lot of DIY stuff. So we might do like Super Mario lights, or things that families can come in and download and print and then make at home. So I try to do DIYs that are very simple and something that just everyone can grasp onto. And it can just be about anything. Sometimes, especially when it comes to holidays, we will focus on holiday stuff, which is one of my favorite things to do.
Can you show us any of them?
Do I list any of them?
Can you show us any of them?
Do you have any, do you have any that you could show us?
Let's see. Oh, well, I did some origami pieces. I'm just going to pop over here real quick. And so I don't know if you guys know Paper Mario, the Origami King,
nice.
but we have and origami is really hard. So
Yeah, that looks awesome.
this is not origami. I cheated, just so everyone knows.
Okay.
I think origami is supposed to be like one paper, no glue, just folds, right? But you know what? It's still
craft. I mean, kudos to people that can do it off of one sheet of paper. Cannot. That's way too much talent for me.
But you made that up. Like you
that?
did it from scratch through making it up though, or did you like follow a guide for those?
So yeah, I did it from scratch.
Wow.
I made the patterns.
That's impressive then.
Sheets, all that stuff. Because everyone was, in quarantine. So I figured, why not have people make stuff at home, so they can build memories with their family and friends. And I was just like, well, here's the free printout sheets. Y'all go crazy.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's super creative.
Oh, thank you.
Impressive.
So with the craft, I mean, I know the story obviously because I was I lived with you. But tell everyone how you got started with crafting and just creating stuff.
Ooh, how far back do you want to go?
Wow, it goes that far back.
We got an hour. You can go as far back as the room if you wanted to.
Yo, pop off, sis. Pop off, sis.
Pop off.
If anything, it definitely started at a young age. Vanessa knows this. As sisters, at the time, Pokemon never came out with real figurines. They just had the Pokemon trading cards. They kind of just, I feel like, started off. So I would actually draw the Pokemon off of our 150 original Pokemon. And then my sisters would cut it out and use them as figurines. But of course, as kids, rims rip off and, it gets damaged and wrinkled. So then I have to redraw it. So it was that sense of like having to just practice continuously just by drawing Pokemon. And then, of course, me and my sisters, we played video games. So there was a point in my life where it was just like, you know what? I really like this combination of like arts and crafts and video games. And let's see how I can utilize that throughout the rest of my life. So, it was just a continuation of going back and forth with new Nintendo titles and just making arts and crafts.
I remember those days too. I remember because Christina would draw the Pokemon and we would hide them all over our house or apartment and just start trying to like catch them and stuff. That was so funny.
That's super cute.
And then with video games, you joined the video game club back in high school. And then I feel like that's when you really started popping up because you also had art class at the same time.
I did. Yeah, I definitely took a lot of ceramics class. I took drawing. It was just a lot of like art classes because at the time also I didn't have that many friends. So actually, I mean, sure, you can say I joined the video game club, but it wasn't because I wanted to. Actually, Vanessa, I don't know if you remember, but you're the one that
I do remember.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so that was just really cool to see Vanessa kind of like push me into not only, of course, putting myself out there, but making lifelong friends and incorporating video games into my life. So Vanessa definitely did start that journey of me combining the two things, which is art and video games.
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
No,
Sweet.
so early on.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
But no, that's pretty awesome because we still are friends with a lot of the people from that club.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I do have a question. How long have you been a Nintendo ambassador?
Ooh, I've been a Nintendo brand ambassador, I believe, for 2 years and a half.
Oh.
So,
How does one become a Nintendo ambassador?
How does one become a Nintendo brand ambassador?
Yeah.
So I remember hearing about the program based off of like all my friends and content creators, especially in the Nintendo community. And I was really intrigued and I wanted to find out more information about it. And I just remember just asking and seeing how like people were brought into the program. Some, of course, people reached, the company reached out to them. Some they had to reach out to Nintendo. I was lucky enough to go to E3 one year and ran into a couple of, colleagues of Nintendo and representatives, and I was very scared because I like every time I like try to talk to someone or anything like that, I get super nervous, and then sometimes I'll leave the conversation thinking like, "Oh, Christine, you talked way too much." But I was, I just shot my shot, and I was just like, "Hey, I heard about this program. I don't know like what it entails, but I'm very intrigued, and is there any way that I can sign up?" And next thing you know, they're just like, "Yeah, we'll get you into contact with the right people." And then it was just a trickle effect from there, which was really, really awesome. So I mean, if I can give any advice to anyone wanting to not only work with Nintendo, but another company, it really is like shooting your shot, sending that email, talking to the right people, continuously bothering them, but respectively.
Don't go spamming their emails with like 20 emails that are copy pasted.
Absolutely. Because it's very understandable. Everyone's really busy, especially during this time. You want to be as respectable as possible, but that's how it all started.
Amazing.
You have like a crazy story too, because you wanted to work with Nintendo the first time.
Yeah,
and then,
definitely a long time coming. And I think Vanessa can attest to this, but I remember getting close to graduating out of high school. And I feel like a lot of teenagers and kids go through this, where it's like they constantly get asked the question, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? What kind of career are you going to get into? What kind of job do you want to have? And it's very heavy questions. And for some people, they've always known what they've wanted to do. But I feel like, including me, a lot of people don't, especially coming out of high school. So I don't know, the person I was back then, I was just like, you know what? At the time, I made a lot of figurines. I made jewelry from Nintendo characters. Seriously, at the age of 17, I was like, I'm going to send them a package and show them what I can do, and tell them like I would love to work at their company. And so I printed out professional photos. I sent them examples, all that stuff. And then I actually got a response back. And opening the letter, it was the nicest rejection I've ever received. But instead of being really disappointed, I was just like, wow, they responded. And looking back logistically, I mean, I didn't even graduate high school yet, and I had no experience at all. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to keep this letter, and I'm going to use it as some sort of a motivation to get me to want to achieve my goals. Whether it be working at Nintendo, which at the time and still is definitely my main goal, if anything. Yeah.
No, that's
and
definitely
now you're
very
a brand
true.
ambassador.
So because I think we talked about it in the first or second podcast, where finding your passion, that was a big topic. I think that was that the first podcast, Vanessa?
That was the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one. So like I definitely agree with you when you said, when you coming out of high school, a lot of these heavy questions, not knowing what to do as a career and whatnot. I didn't really know what I wanted to do until like halfway through college. And that was to keep making videos and be a content creator. It just happened. So I definitely feel that, Christine. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that too.
Yeah, no, yeah, especially talking with you, Sarah Knight. Like I could tell the passion that you have with your community and what you do, and then same with Christine over here. I think that's what sets apart a lot of people who say they want, and the people who actually succeed in doing what they want to do. It's having that passion, having that drive, having that determination, even when you do get rejected or something happens, I think that's what set people apart, especially when it comes to, I guess, their definition of success.
Definitely. I mean, when you get rejected, you just come back stronger, I feel. So
yeah,
it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? It makes you work harder towards your goals. As long as you don't give up on your goals, that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
That's the most important.
And sometimes even wanting to get back up and continue is really hard. There have definitely been times where I felt like, okay, do I just like drop everything, because it is a very unknown journey that I feel like a lot of YouTubers and streamers go through. And like you said, Sir Knight, like rejection shouldn't be this thing that stops you. I think it's important when you do get rejected to ask the right questions. How can I make my resume look better? What do I need to work on? What kind of content does my audience want to see? I think when it comes to failure, it's like if you ask the right questions, you can utilize it to make yourself better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like when I feel like with rejection, I feel like a lot of people linger too much on what they couldn't control and not what they can control. So instead of asking what I can do, they usually ask, oh, it didn't happen because of this and this and this. It must have been because of this and this and this. They don't look within themselves and be like, well, there's some things I couldn't control, but what's something that I can to improve myself?
Yeah. And speaking of rejection, because I'm an actor, I think I've gotten very good at being rejected. Because as an actor, it's probably the most rejected job occupation there is, because you're doing so many auditions. And realistically, I think the statistics say that only about 2% of actors actually make it in this industry, which is crazy. Yeah. Like 2%, that's not a lot of people. Yeah. So I get rejected quite often, but I'm used to it. So it's okay.
Right. You know, and I would imagine if, Sarah Knight, I feel like maybe even like your first audition, when you got rejected, I feel like that must have been really hard,
Oh, yeah. When I first started. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then now, since going through the journey and getting rejected continuously, now now it's like rejection isn't this negative thing. It's like this thing where it's like, oh, well, I need to move on.
And sometimes it's not even because you're not a skilled actor. Sometimes it could be something along the line of, I don't know, you're too good looking for the role, or you're too tall, or you're too short, or your eyes are too small, or something, like it could be anything. It could even be something as simple as they didn't like the color of your shirt that you wore to the audition. That's how precise they are with the rejections, right?
Really?
So sometimes you don't really take it that personally. You learn to not take it so hard as an actor.
Yeah, because I feel like when they're looking for a role already, they already kind of have this, like, I guess, image of what they want that character to look like.
Exactly.
So I could see that being one of the factors for sure.
Yeah, but you just learn to love what you do, you just, you do it because you love it. And it's not really so much, I want to become that. Of course, it'd be wonderful if you become like this super movie star in Hollywood movies or whatever. But if you love what you do and you keep going, that's what matters.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I'm going to chime in with something random. Okay, so I checked the comments of the first podcast and whatnot. There's a particular comment that I saw. All right, just going to clear this up. No, it is not sweat. It is lighting and lotion. The 2 L's. The combination of lighting and lotion that makes my forehead look shiny. Okay.
You gotta powder your face. So we do in the industry. There's always people on the side powdering you like crazy.
Not sweat. I am not hot. Okay, I appreciate the concern. Thank you very much.
Riku's just trying to reflect back at the sun. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we got to send you some powder.
Dude, I got you.
Mat your face up.
All right, so Christine, I'm curious. So by you working at Nintendo, brand ambassador, what are some of your favorite game series from Nintendo? I'm curious.
Ooh, so of course, Super Smash Bros. Hands down. That's like my favorite game of all time. And Vanessa could attest to years of literally playing it in our garage, in our neighbor's garage, outside on our patio. I mean, we took it everywhere. So Super Smash Bros, of course. Legend of Zelda. Oh. That's one of my favorite ones. The Pikmin series, Metroid. There's a lot of games that, Metroid 4.
I'm waiting. Anybody else waiting?
Oh, don't get his hopes up, okay?
It's eventually coming, guys.
But, is that the inside scoop from Miss Nintendo herself?
I'll believe it when I see it.
They don't tell me anything. I think people have this perception that like Nintendo brand ambassadors must know everything. We don't. We get the exact same information you guys get. I would love to, trust me, but would I want to put myself in that predicament where you're holding on to this really sacred information? Heck no. I talk way too much.
So true.
But yeah, I mean, like Nintendo has been a huge part of our family. I know Vanessa. Literally, I would watch her beat a lot of the games when we couldn't beat it. Luigi's Mansion, specifically.
Nice.
You know, so we've played a lot of games regarding Nintendo, and we grew up with the characters. But I would definitely have to say Super Smash Bros. Has changed my life. And allowed me to make a lot of friends that I would have never imagined making. A community that is really accepting. I mean, yeah, if I had to choose a game that I could literally play for the rest of my life, it would have to be Super Smash Bros.
Wow.
Yeah. So then the main question is, who do you main?
Right. I would
Which
actually want to know everyone's character. If you guys have mains and subs and all that stuff. If I had, my favorite character throughout the whole entire series that I've kept up to date since Ultimate and Melee days is Pikachu as my main, and then Ganondorf as my sub. Gotta go for the heavy hitter because he's just amazing.
Pikachu! When I played it, my main was Ike and the newer ones, but before that, I think it was Link. It might have been Link.
Oh, you were Link main. Ooh.
I would always go for Kirby and Pikachu.
Oh, you look like Kirby. No,
wow. Riku,
Kirby's cute. What?
No, this is actually Riku's last time on this podcast.
I'm getting canceled on my own podcast.
Riku's getting canceled on this podcast.
Oh my god.
I mean, Kirby has that move where he just kind of hovers over and then like sits on people and they die right away, right? So
Top down.
the most OP enough.
One out the butt.
I
The
think
most OP move.
it is. And Kirby's such a cute character too. You don't ever expect him to hit as hard as he usually does.
Yeah, he actually hits pretty hard.
But yeah,
Like, as soon as I switch to other characters, I'm terrible.
Lol.
Same.
that's why it's your main.
Who did you main, Van Van?
Melee days, I was a Sheik main, and then they nerfed Sheik, and so I became a Zelda main.
Fight me, Vanessa.
Yeah, I had not touched the newer games.
Yeah.
I don't know. My hand-eye coordination is very bad as age gets to me.
I was gonna say something
older
along
I
those
get.
lines, but I don't want to get canceled. So yeah, you say it.
But yeah, I remember those days. Those days were so good. I think at one point we owned like 5 GameCubes, and we were like, "Whose GameCubes are these?"
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because everyone would bring it over, and then people are just like too lazy to like wrap up all the cords, and we just tell ourselves, we're gonna be back next weekend, so why do we need to bring it back? Like pack it up and bring it back, so people would just leave their consoles at my parents' house.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I think my favorite memory regarding Super Smash Bros. In general is not only, of course, the friends that we've made, especially in the video game club, but I do remember a particular story where, because our mom, God bless her, and my parents, I mean, they, they're very traditional. And they wanted us to stick to education, which I still wholeheartedly believe, education is very, very important. But, my mom being Asian, it was like, I don't like you guys playing video games, and the only game she really liked was Animal Crossing because we sold it to her pretty well, in my opinion. We were just like,
I would say we lied.
Money.
We lied. Wow.
I would say that was more of a lie.
Anyone watching this podcast, please do not lie. Thank you. All right.
It teaches you life values. Okay. So that was literally the only game she would allow us to play on weeknights, school nights. And I remember leading up to Brawl, like Nintendo, they had this website where they would release every week a new character in the roster. And my sisters and I would look every single morning and see who just got announced, and we talk about it, all that stuff. So when the midnight release finally came, we were begging our mom to let us go to this tournament and enjoy the midnight release. And she was so stern. She said no. And I'm pretty sure we all went to bed crying.
Oh no.
It was so sad. But So I shared a room with my younger sister. Vanessa had her own room, which was across the hall.
Because I'm the oldest, and of course I get my own room.
I know. So I remember hearing this knock, like close to midnight. I remember hearing this knock, and my dad comes in, and he's just like, "Hey, I'm gonna sneak you guys out." And I'm like, "What?"
I remember this story. I remember this.
Oh, yeah, wow. He's like, "I'm gonna sneak you guys out. Quick, I'm going to sneak you through the garage," which made no sense at the time. Now that I'm thinking about it, because we got through the front door.
The garage was so much louder than the front door. I don't know why my dad was like, "Yeah, let's just go through the garage."
It was so cute, though. My dad was like, "I'll sneak you guys out. Just crawl underneath the garage door." And then next you see our neighbors waiting for us, which was just so cool. So we got to end up going to the midnight release. I don't think my mom knows the story.
Wow.
So, Mom, I love you.
Wow.
Oh, that's so cute.
But it's definitely one of my favorite memories. And I think it's a testament to what Nintendo provides, which is, and a lot of games too, which is just memories, with your friends, your family, just sitting down and playing a good game, whether it be online or in real life, especially nowadays where it's all online. I mean, it's amazing what gaming can do, and that's what I love about it. The best aspect, I think, about games is that.
Yeah, and it's an escape for a lot of people too. I know for you, you were saying that, you didn't have much friends, and I totally remember like all of this. And I know with video games, that was like your way of connecting to people, but also kind of escaping everything else that was probably stressing you out and stuff.
Oh yeah. And it saves you money too, technically, because you stay home, you don't go out, you don't get into all those, bad kid things in high school.
That is so true.
Right though.
Yep.
Right.
And now you can make money off of it because it's the coolest thing to do now, even though back then it wasn't.
Right.
Right. Like, hey, you want to go out? Nah, sorry, busy playing video games.
Yeah, that's literally how it
is. But now people understand it nowadays.
Yeah, some people will think you're weird, but then, you just filter them out.
But back then it was definitely more. It was just definitely more unacceptable back then, for sure, And I think back then it was like you couldn't make any money off of that either, unless you went to tournaments and stuff. But even local tournaments, I would say it was a rare thing unless you're in the fighting game community. But, even back then, people considered gamers just really nerdy, not going to do anything in life, all that crazy stuff. But I think it's a little bit more acceptable now. Like everyone everyone plays video games now, and that's what I love about Nintendo too, is that they just started putting out promotional work where Serena Williams plays, Aquafina. I mean, anyone, especially when it came to quarantine, everyone was picking up gaming, because that's really all that people could do at the time. And so I'm really thankful that there's gaming companies, to at least have people escape from what is going on, even for a little bit,
Absolutely.
So one thing I do want to say about gaming, it definitely has changed within like the past decade or so, because like before then, I mean, the only real way you make money from gaming, if you go to school to create games and stuff like that, and even then, I felt like it was only like really heightened in certain areas, like having gaming schools and a career for that. But like now it's like, I think I was just recently told about there being like a school to where you actually go and play games instead of going to make games and whatnot. And just I think in general gaming has just like evolved a lot, with the whole streaming over on Twitch. And I've seen content creators stream with like musicians like Drake. I've seen Little Nas over on Twitch. It's just like it's expanding so much now, and it's like gaming is becoming cool now, and it's like everyone is secretly doing it. And
AOC just played Among Us. What the heck?
AOC, a politician? Hello?
That is crazy. Whoa. Everyone's gaming, which is really cool, and it's a lot more acceptable. And that's what I love too, is that this community is very accepting, and I think it entails to people being able to connect with each other around the world. you know, and I think that's why everyone's just so chill with everyone too, you know, and the storylines in a lot of video games too are very relatable. Whether it be politics or any of those things, like just going through those storylines, it does open your mind to different perspectives, you know, and you're not so closed-minded, which is really good. That's another, I mean, there's so many plus to video games, so many positive things that comes out of video games.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it builds your creative mind too, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It really builds your creativity.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at just video games, right? You have musical theory coming into the video games. You have the storyline, you have the graphics, you have the characters. That's why I think I love video games, is because it incorporates all those different sectors. You know, now there's also acting, you know, where they put the little dots on your face and then they put you in the game.
Mocap, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's just insane. It's literally just a whole dump of creativity.
I could totally see Sarah Knight doing that too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
Because I don't know if Christine knows this.
I forgot what.
I have to send Christine this video, but Sarah Knight knows how to do, I guess, the sword. What do you call it? The sword.
Oh, yeah,
sword play.
I don't know if you've heard of Wushu before.
Wushu.
It's basically just Chinese martial arts. But
So
I've done the mocap before. I've done mocap before in the past.
Oh, okay.
Not for my face, but for like body movements.
That is so cool.
No, that's actually sick.
That is really, really
It's
cool.
fun.
See,
It's really fun.
So what I'm saying is she can kick all of our butts, is what I'm saying.
100%, 100%, yes.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't.
Unless Riku wants to offend you again.
Huh? Wait, what? What I do? Riku did nothing wrong. Riku's innocent. Okay, so
Canceling this man on his podcast.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, with storytelling, KK, what's your favorite story when it comes to like a video game? Like, is there a video game that has a really good storyline that you connected with?
Ooh. Wow, that's a good question.
that's a really hard one.
That's a thinker.
Yeah, that's a really hard one too, man. There's so many, but I'm trying to pick up on one that I really like started crying on. Man, I don't remember the title though, because it was such an indie game. But I think it's just like, if anything, when you really fall in love with the character, even as simple as like Pikmin, you know, like you get to plant 100 of them, but when one dies, it's like the saddest thing, you know? So it's like, I mean, when you really connect with these characters, you know, just and seeing their turmoil and the choices that they have to make and the problems that they have to face, it really connects you to that character, especially when you can relate to that character. So, I mean, I'm definitely sure there's been a lot of times where I've felt for a character and deeply understood what they had to go through and the fight that it took to get them to where they are now, you know? So
I think I've seen you cry on one game. Was it To the Moon that you're trying to
yeah!
talk about?
Oh,
Okay.
that's the one.
To the moon. Can you explain that?
To the Moon. Yes, explain.
Dude, I mean, it just goes back to like really falling in love with those characters, and especially when you can relate to a character, that's when you make that connection, and it lasts forever, which is the coolest thing. And I would love, if ever I have kids, to pass that on to my kids, you know, and get them into gaming, you know, and understanding the world as a whole and not staying in that box.
Instead of a rattle, Christine's gonna hand her baby a controller.
Really cool small
No.
shirt.
Shake
You already
this.
know, guys. You already know. That's what me and Jason have planned from the beginning. Okay, probably me. I haven't discussed it with Jason.
Oh
yet.
no,
Jason!
Jason, you're listening.
Jason!
It's probably gonna happen, among other plans. Like, I've already decided if we were gonna have kids, I'm gonna pretend I'm poor till they hit the age of 18 and be like, okay, we were kidding, we can pay for your college, you know? Because one thing that we do want to instill in our kids is not only obviously playing games, you know, but we do want to teach them empathy, which is a huge thing for me and Jason, empathy and compassion, you know? And there's a lot of stories that in gaming that incorporate those things. And so, yeah, I mean, if I could teach my kids those two things, you know, they're set. I don't care what they do, because I mean, their mom tried to do streaming and YouTube, so I mean, I don't know how to say what they want to do later on. But I'm totally fine as long as they understand empathy and compassion, especially towards others. So
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I want to chime in for a second, and this is for everyone. Personally, for me, I just want to say overall, playing games actually got me into like learning history. And yeah, as the train is coming past, so I'm trying my best.
Train Chan.
So yeah, it really got me into learning thing. Oh, I love this mic then. So it really got me into wanting to know more about history, because when I first played, you know, the Koi Warriors games like Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, and you know, I play with the characters, and that's one of the big reasons why I'm still on the platform YouTube, because I used to role play and all that weird stuff a decade ago and everything. And I started liking the characters, and I started looking up the history of this character, what actually happened, this battlefield in these times, during the 1400s, 1500s. You know, I actually started doing research on a lot of those things, and I actually got a book from the library that explained about Nobunaga's castle in Honnoji, how he built it and everything years ago. But yeah, I can say games has like that aspect right there really just got me into liking history and everything. So does anyone have like any similar stories to that? Like, did it get you into anything?
Dude, Dynasty Warriors, you kidding me? Yeah. I probably should butcher his name, but Zhao Yun, is that
that's the cover guy. That's the cover guy.
Like that history, like, oh my gosh, like me and my sisters were all about that. Especially when Lubu came in, you know, I mean, it was just so awesome. And learning the history and like, it just makes you want to even do your own research, you know, and really discover what these characters did in real life, in history, you know? So, yeah, it's just the coolest thing to incorporate history, because now it's no longer virtual. This was actually reality at one point, you know? And that's the coolest thing. I was just like, dang, awesome.
I mean, I learned some guy got shot in the eye and then ate his eyeball. Like, that's pretty hardcore.
Xiaodun. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Xiaodun.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xiaodun got shot in the eye by an arrow. He plucked the arrow out and ate his eyeball.
Oh my God, they were something. What was that?
That's what I read, and then they implemented that in Dynasty Warriors as well. I don't know why, but that's so G.
Yeah, that's pretty G.
Did not care.
You hear from one side, yo, that's pretty cool, and then the other side, you. It's like
it's kind of scary though. I mean, would you want to go up to a guy that just ate his own eye? I don't think so. I would rather.
Yeah, you know what? Direction. That would be the most intimidating thing ever.
That's a heck of a battle cry.
I mean, I think I'd be busy crying over the pain in my eyeball.
Yeah.
Like, not even thinking about eating it. At least cook it first.
Oh yeah.
You want the well done eyeball.
I mean, it was in the middle of battle, so I don't think they could have made a campfire quick enough to
put it away for later. You know?
I would hate to be the person where he connected eyes with while he was eating it.
Ate the eyeball. Oh my god, yeah.
My stomach is starting to hurt and I didn't eat, okay?
Oh yeah, me neither.
But yeah, going back to like stories, for sure, there's a lot of games that not only just teach you about history, but also teach you about what's going on around you and in the world. And I remember one game that me and my sisters played a lot was Tales Symphonia. And that one, the reason why that's my favorite Tales game is because it touches on so many different topics. There's racism, there's, you know, like government stuff going on, conspiracies. It's like, it's really crazy how they tied this crazy story, and it's actually a very dark story too, but it's with characters that are like cute chibi looking characters.
Yeah.
So you have this like cute looking game, but this really deep dark story connected to it, and I think that's why I really enjoyed that one. So I remember I played that game probably like 5 or 6 times.
Ooh,
such a good game.
Yeah, it's a really good
I've
game.
actually never played that game.
Oh, you should play it. It is multiplayer. It is multiplayer. So if you ever want to play.
Okay. Yeah, like my childhood was all Final Fantasy games and Square Enix games mostly.
Ooh. So now I have a question. What do you think about Sephiroth in Super Smash Bros?
I haven't tried playing him yet in Super Smash. I mean, Sephiroth, I'll be really honest. I know some people really love his character just because of, what happens in Final Fantasy with Sephiroth. I'm not a huge fan of him.
Yeah, he's mean.
Because I liked my characters. I don't know if I'm spoiling it for anybody. I don't want to spoil anything, but I like the character that was unfortunate with him,
okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, that broke my heart. That was like probably the first game I cried to, like the original Final Fantasy VII.
I mean, yeah, Final Fantasy VII was a good one, and you know what? I think it's been a couple years. You can spoil it. It's been a couple years.
Wow.
How long was the when did the oh come on, the original came out when? Like that was on the PlayStation.
Yeah, it was
it's been a while.
You'd be surprised how many people have not played the original though. There's actually a lot of people who haven't played it.
I gave my backstory to why I haven't played it when it first came out. I played it a couple years ago, of course, super late, but growing up, like I said, I think I said this on the second podcast. I don't know if you were there, Sarah Knight, but
she was.
My brother had his own PS1, and then because I had to share with my other brother, the one that's a little older than me, but not the oldest. So we had two separate PS1s. I beat him in the game. He broke it, and then we weren't allowed to touch the oldest brother's PS1, so I never played Final Fantasy VII when I was a kid. I played it, but not as a kid.
Because you guys broke the other one. That was me.
I was the youngest brother. I'm an angel. What?
How did you break it?
Well, we were playing a game. I beat him, because he's a sore loser. I'm the youngest. Keep in mind. He's, man, you can't beat me. Just threw it in the closet, and that was it.
Like literally just yeeted it into the closet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have. Whew, man. When I tell you I'm the angel, they're the devils. But that's all I can say. Yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. Just yeeted. So.
Oh no.
PS1 was not long lasted in our family.
Like, oh.
If anything, Nintendo 64 was super big in our family.
Oh yeah. Oh, Nintendo 64. Yeah. There's some good games on Nintendo 64.
Oh my god, it's a lot. Don't get me started. Yes. No.
One game that I really liked, it was on the Wii though. I don't know if you guys had a Wii.
Ooh, yeah,
the Wii Fit game. I loved the Wii Fit game. I used to play with my family like all the time. We used to all challenge each other and try to beat each other's scores. My parents would kill it. It was crazy. We all get some exercise, on the Wii Fit.
Mm-hmm. You have the ring one? So do you?
No, we have the one that you step on the board. The one that the really old school one where it was like literally like 1 foot on each side and you had to like balance yourself and everything.
Yeah.
For perfect posture, and then you had to like dodge things on a ski hill and like or like jump and stuff. It was, but not actually jumping, but just kind of like pushing off your knees. Mm-hmm. It's like it was really fun. It was really fun. I actually enjoyed a lot of the games on the Wii.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah, there were some pretty good ones on the Wii.
And speaking of like that was super innovative too, where it comes to like working out, like in a video game. Dude, I'm telling you, the one game I've really loved this year that at one point was sold out is Ring Fit Adventure. That'll get you sweaty. It is ridiculously good. Like
I've seen people play it. I haven't tried it though.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh,
so
you'll like it if you get it.
Definitely get that as your next installment for Wii Fit because, it was just so cool. And, we actually, when back then, when it was safe to do so, we had a party, I believe, Vanessa, was it for Christian, right? We had like everyone come over and and like the hypest game that we had was Ring Fit. Like everyone was trying to beat their scores. Well, creating muscle. It was crazy,
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's tough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do have another story, but that's really bad. But it just popped in my head. So, when we were reviewing Ring Fit, I brought it to a friend's house, and I guess we were way too hype because apparently the security guard over to the complex that was next door heard us and started driving around and seeing if someone needed help. Because when my friend was walking her dog, he came up to her and was just like, "Hey, do you hear anyone screaming?" And she's just like, "Oh shoot, I'm sorry. It's my friends. They got this new game on the Switch." And he's like, No. They're screaming like they're dying. And she's like, "No, that's my friends." And then he like, well, can you tell them not to scream like they're dying? And she's like, yeah, I'll tell them. It was so bad.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
yeah, good game.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
At least they're having fun.
Yes. Oh yeah. It was.
It makes a good story to tell. Yeah.
It definitely was, and it was, again, like I said, just a really good party game. You know, have you guys had any memories like that where it's just like, I mean, every time you are mention a title, or even if someone asks you about a game or a title or a character, like, is there a memory that instantly pops up and comes to mind?
Okay, so it's not the oldest of games, but I feel like I'm the minority when it comes to this, of course. Final Fantasy 13. All right, so I have a little small backstory
like
with that game.
Person.
I feel like I'm the only person on this earth that enjoyed the game. But like back in college, because I think it came out in like 2010, I believe. I bought it for the 360 and everything, but like I went to school for game production and it was so stressing. I've had days where I didn't sleep at all because I had to work on a project for the next day. It was so stressful. And then I would just have Final Fantasy 13 on in the background and just hearing the soothing soundtrack, because I love that game soundtracks. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, the music was really good in that game.
Yeah,
too.
the music.
All the Final Fantasy games, they have like amazing soundtracks.
I like how they're different in their own way, but it's still good, like as a whole and everything. So yeah, it's just a lot of times back in college when I would just have like a lot of stress from the projects, and I would just always seem to play that game and have it on, you know, just be idle in the game, just hear the soundtrack and see the environment, the background, the, you know, the level design and everything. I would just glance at it. I would just like sleep all the time too. You know how, Vanessa, when you sleep too, you always mention that one game you normally just pass out to. Oh, Animal Crossing. You just pass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like that for me with Final Fantasy 13, just hearing the soundtrack in the background. I was just like pass out mid, just like working stuff. So that one.
Which one was your favorite character though?
Oh God.
Real question.
Yeah, who is your favorite character?
Okay, you put me on the spot. Hold on. My favorite character in 13 would probably I like Claire. I like Fang as well, but Claire, I do really like her character. As far as Final Fantasy in general, my favorite character is Pain. That's in my name. You know,
yeah,
the one in she
came out of nowhere though. I was like, who is this?
She was such a sick character, dude. She was just bad A-word and like, you know, oh my, like everything about her.
Her name was Pain.
Yeah, her name was Pain. Her hair was sick. It was like freaking gray and silver. Her outfit was nice. Oh my God.
I like to use this quotation, nice. Yeah, it's nice, you know. Yeah. Something you could wear, you know, to a family dinner.
I liked her so much. I put her in the name of my Rico X Payne. She's part of my name, so I love her character so much. But yeah, 13 was that for me.
And I'm interested actually. Is there a character that you think best fits your personality? Is there a character out there in any gaming genre, title, or anything that you've really related to, where it's just like, oh, this character is like very similar to me and how they handle the problems and situations and life?
I'm just gonna throw in
anything I can think.
For me, I'm just gonna say Gotenks, if you guys know Dragon Ball, because he's a child, he's immature, and he jokes like 90% of the time. And when I look at that character, I see that stuff in me. So
because like I see myself in that character.
Gotenks.
Man in the mirror, Gotenks.
Like shake a little bit, yeah.
How about you, Sarah Knight?
I can't really think of one off the top of my head, to be honest, that I really felt like I could connect in a relatable way with. Yeah, I can't really think of one at the top of my head. Because every game I play is like fantasy based, right? So they're all like super powered and like
that's true.
And either like super tough or they have like a crazy backstory or something. So it's like there isn't really anything I can think of.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. This is really random because I was trying to think of one and I was just like, I don't think that character fits with me. I'd probably say Link doesn't talk that much.
Wait, you should be what? You said what? You said who?
Link.
No, you talk a lot. I don't think Link works with you. I'm sorry. Try again, Christine.
More like the fairy.
As a kid, I was just like, how to choose one? It'd probably be Link.
You know what? If you're talking about how you were before, I would definitely say Link, because you were very like quiet as a kid. But if I were to say now, I definitely wouldn't say
what's
Link.
The most what's the most talkative character nowadays in gaming?
Paimon.
Paimon.
Paimon from Genshin Impact.
I just go on and on and on. It's so crazy. It's definitely crazy. Definitely 360 from going back then to now, you know. I would definitely attest that to video games, you know. Just me being able to talk about my ideas and perspectives and stuff like that. I have to give a huge prop to gaming, you know, for getting me from where I was back then to now, you know.
Oh yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, the one character that I feel like Christine kind of has always been like is Colette.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say Colette. I was thinking of her.
Isn't it?
I was thinking of that.
Because she is like the nicest. She is the nicest character, and she always puts people like ahead of her before herself. You know that? You know what I mean? Like, and that's always been part of Christine's character. Like, she's always been like the nicest out of the three of us, out of my sisters, but she always puts herself. She always puts people ahead of her before herself. So, like, yeah, I would say Colette for sure.
Trying to think of one for a Serenite this whole time.
I don't know. Okay, every time I kept thinking of a character, it was Tifa. I can't get.
She's a Doki Doki character, man. Like, she has to be somebody from Doki Doki.
Doki Doki. Whoa.
Have you seen her streams? Are all crazy.
She's a mad woman. No.
Oh my god.
Oh, the Monica.
No, like, dude, just Monica.
I can just sit here like this on my camera
just
now.
Serenite.
No, I just from interacting with you and stuff. It's not even just like looks or anything. It's also like personality, just from interacting with you. And then the podcast before this. I don't know why, but I always get I get Tifa vibes from you. So
really,
I'm trying to think of a silly character. I'm trying my best.
Because she's a very
Kirby.
You're Kirby. You're an actor, so you can definitely act.
I just drop everything on people like Kirby.
But can you eat like Kirby though?
Kirby,
actually, yeah, I'm a big eater. I'm not gonna lie, I actually eat quite a lot.
Right?
Sorry.
What was that?
Oh, Kirby inhales other people. Like, he kind of takes the role of.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and then he turns into them.
Kirby's like an actor in a way.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Kirby.
So we're settling on Kirby then.
Bars.
Gotta peel the onion. There's more layers to him.
I'll take that.
Oh my goodness.
Just think of it
better than mime, right?
Yeah,
Kirby's nice and cute.
Oh yeah, nice and cute. So if Kirby has to act a certain way, just absorb Link. Oh, I'm Link now. I can play this role. Absorb Samus. I can play this role. I have a gun.
He's basically cosplaying everyone, right? Yeah,
that is true.
Wow. Yeah.
He's the ultimate cosplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Riku, do we have any questions from the Reddit, by the way? I totally almost forgot the Reddit. The topics or anything.
I can double check on something. I was mostly relying on my brain, which seemed to work out 80% of the time, but that 20% I gotta watch out for.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, freaking video games, man. They bring so many people together. Because imagine, like, we probably wouldn't all be in this podcast for sure if it wasn't for video games. Well, and the way and it doesn't even have to be like playing the same game either, because I know we all kind of play different games. I know Riku's all about his gacha games.
Okay, all right, I limit myself to gacha, young lady. Okay. We play a lot of the same games, Vanessa.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah. But I think we kind of like branched out on our own thing. I know Christine plays mostly Nintendo games. I haven't touched a Nintendo game in like a long time, other than Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, me too. I play Animal Crossing on my Switch.
Yeah, we all have it on the Switch, man. It was so fun.
Yeah, you gotta collect all the recipes.
Minus the tarantulas in the game, but yeah. It's a very.
I only saw one so far. I failed to catch it.
Dude, I used to see it every single day. I hate it. Like I hate it here.
Did you see scorpions? I saw one scorpion.
I would rather much prefer see scorpions than spiders.
I do the scorpions. No, They look scary. They look like they can kill you. Tarantulas not so much, but those things are huge.
I'm naturally scared of spiders, so I couldn't do it, dude. Like,
oh yeah, that's true.
The whole time I was watching Game Awards, I told this to Christian that when they were showing all the games and stuff, they showed a grounded, then they showed a giant spider, and I screamed in my stream. I was like, I literally screamed. I was like, oh my God.
Oh no! I should send you this Reddit post that I saw the other day then about a spider.
Please, Sarah, no, please. No.
Can I tell you the story at least?
Yes.
Do it.
So basically, you know those really big spiders in Australia? I forgot what they're called. Hunters?
Okay, I want to end the conversation.
The really big ones. So basically, there's this household where the lady is against killing them, so she lets it live in their house, and they named it Charlotte. And it minds its own business. It goes room to room killing bugs, and then other than that, you can just hear it walking around the house, and it just lives with them. And she won't let anyone kill it.
Walking around
you can hear it when it's walking on the wall because they're literally like this big. You can hear it like walking on the walls.
I would freak out.
That's crazy.
But she lives with it. They named him Charlotte. They named it Charlotte.
Like Charlotte, I'm gonna get Riku a pet Charlotte now.
Like Charlotte Web from like the little like
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's way too much. I can't do that.
Charlotte's Web. Oh yeah, it was a big spider.
So, Christine, what games have you played this year?
What games have I played this year?
Yes.
For sure, Animal Crossing. The latest game I beat, which I'm pretty surprised that I like beat it so quickly because I think I wasn't expecting myself to really dive into this game. But Hyrule Warriors, like,
oh yeah, that just came out recently, right?
Surprised. Well, I was like, this was awesome. It not only like obviously brought me back to like the Legend of Zelda games and all the different characters, but it really did bring me back to my childhood. We were playing Dynasty Warriors. It was like this perfect blend of like, okay, I love the Legend of Zelda, and now I'm bringing in the Dynasty Warriors hack and slash into this. Like, it was just perfect. So yeah, I love the storyline, the characters. You're playing characters that you would have never imagined playing either. So you can either play the Great Fairy, which is insane, or you can play yeah.
I don't remember ever her fighting at all in any of the games.
Wait, hold on, she's playable?
He's playable, yeah. He hacks and slashes and everything. It's crazy. Yo, and okay, Impa is like the coolest character in the entire
Okay, that's biased because that is biased because Christine cosplayed Impa.
Fight.
Listen, okay? Not only is she basically Hokage, she summons a frog. She does shadow clone jutsus. It's awesome. It is so.
She's a Naruto
cool.
character.
So,
check
it out. I mean, it is like, I know Riku can go with me on this. Where I mean, summoning frogs and shadow clones everywhere.
Sounds like Jiraiya and Naruto to me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
It is awesome. Is there any games that you guys recently beat that you guys were really proud of and felt like really accomplished?
Not recently.
I would say a monster from Monster Hunter.
Ooh.
Was probably the last that was Fatalis, the last monster they put in there. Because that was hard.
Oh,
but it was a lot. Yeah, there's people who still haven't beaten him. But yeah, it was pretty fun. It's a really tough fight because it's not like any other fights that we've been conditioned to fight before. And same with the Latreon, because the Latreon was a whole different kind of fight as well. But Fatalis, you have to be so on point with your dodging and also being able to read the monster because his hitboxes are so big. And he hits like a truck.
Yep.
So yeah, I would probably say that the first time that we beat him was probably like one of the best moments for me when it came to gaming, because it wasn't just me, it was with my community. And I've known my Monster Hunter community since the game has come out, and for us to like end the whole series with that fight was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we stumped him out. Oh man, that was so satisfying.
I mean, he stumped us a couple times.
Hey, we got him back, you know.
Yeah, that one time that we beat him, but yeah.
And then it becomes easier after that, right?
That is true. Yeah, I think that's why I like Monster Hunter, is because it's like a buildup, right? Like you learn the fight, you get very good, and then you beat him, and then you actually retain that knowledge from your previous fight, and then it gets easier. And I think that's what's really
muscle
cool.
memory.
Yeah, it is muscle memory, and it just shows the progression of how good you got at that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then you get his armor, and then everything else in the game becomes too easy.
Yeah, and then you're like one-shotting things.
Oh, Barry,
you're just like, why do I don't even need anything else anymore. You need Chalice armor, that's it.
So actually, the most recent game I beat, I went back to it. It's a little backstory yet again, I know, right? So I went back to play A Link to the Past. It's on the Switch and whatnot. Because it's a game I played as a kid, but I never beaten it. Because I originally played it on the Game Boy Advance. And that was also big with me as well, because I would take it to school with me, not do work. Keep in mind, do schoolwork, please. I would always just play games and stuff in school and not pay attention. Pay attention, please, to anybody who's watching this podcast. And I just never, had a chance to like finish it and everything. So I was like, okay, one day on Twitch, I was like, okay, maybe I should play a game I never beaten as a kid. Let me try Legend of Zelda again. I went back to play it, and dude, I'm like, oh, I've never gotten to this part before. This is sick. Oh, I'm having another tunic. Oh man, like I'm not the biggest Zelda fan, but I really do love Zelda. And I've played a few games, but not as much as, maybe some other people. But that one, A Link to the Past, when I went back to beat that on Twitch, it was a really good feeling. I was like, oh man, that is, because I always wondered what the end of the game was, and and what other things were in the game, but it was really enjoyable for me. And I was like, oh man, why did I? Because I had a period of time, I guess, I haven't played a lot of Nintendo games and whatnot, probably when PlayStation came out and Xbox 360, and then I kind of fell off my Nintendo side of things. And then when I went back to beat it, it was really enjoyable. Oh, it was so fun. Yeah.
And that's the thing with Nintendo games, they're very nostalgic too.
100%.
Because like people grew up with these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially with this celebrating 35th anniversary of Super Mario, they came out with that Super Mario 3D Deluxe, so I immediately hopped on to Mario Sunshine, because that for me was a nostalgic game. And so the fact that I can play it now is just incredible with updated graphics, all that stuff, and I think it's just really cool that now I can even show my kids, like, look what I played back then. That you can play now, So it's just really, really cool. And that's why everyone's saying next year they might even have Legend of Zelda 3D Deluxe, just because their anniversary is coming up, So I love it when the companies can bring back their older games and have the next generation play it,
Yeah.
What do you think of VR games?
Oh, so cool. I love it. Although I do. Okay, so I have really bad motion sickness. And I have a ton of stories that I can involve with that. But it's really hard for me who has motion sickness, because I'm so scared of getting, dizzy when I'm playing VR. So when I did try it for the first time, I am happy to say that if you do have motion sickness, it actually isn't that bad. Depending on the game that you're playing, it's really not that bad. It's very enjoyable. So I love VR. I know my friends have like this huge setup. We played Acrons, which basically is like this cute game. Like everyone else is a squirrel and then you're a tree and you're trying to throw like acorns at the squirrels. It's really crazy. But yeah, no, I love VR games. I think it's definitely the next step. And I think a lot of people nowadays are starting to own VR as well, just because of the current climate too. And a lot of games can now be passed on to VR, because I know Phasmophobia is also VR compatible too, which I don't know who would in their right mind.
Definitely not me. Definitely not me. I definitely would.
So down.
No, I played it on. I played Phasmophobia on VR. The motion sickness is terrible. I don't get motion sickness. I got it for that game.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I'm also terrible with horror, so yeah, two great things together.
You're probably worse than me at horror games.
I am terrible with horror.
I commend you for even stepping into the ring, because that just seems like an intense.
Oh no, I trust me, it was not because I wanted to. It was my Twitch community. My Twitch community kind of got me to do it. Yeah.
It's funny to think that I'm horrible at a horror game, so when I hear you two talk, I feel a lot better.
Oh, you should. Have you seen me play a horror game? I'm terrible. Like I spend like half the stream in a pause menu.
Like, dude, I played Soma, and towards the end, I'm just going a little over it because I have to cut part of the beginning out of Vanessa. But yeah, I was gonna say, when I was playing Soma, it's a horror game on Steam and whatnot, I got to a part that was towards the end to where I was in the cave, and I saw, you know what part I'm getting to. So I was going through the cave, and I saw like some spider looking bugs. There's like spider crabs, whatever. I paused the game. I called Vanessa, made a stream, muted obviously. I was like, Vanessa, are there spiders in Soma? She's like, oh no, there's no spiders.
Yeah, dude, I was going through the game in my head. I was like, no, there's no spiders in there. I'm like, what is he talking
I was like,
about?
at the end in the cave, she was like, oh, the spider
and
crabs.
then, yeah, and I didn't think you would freak out over the crabs.
They're crabs.
Then,
they're not spiders.
Yeah, but
they
were
were
questionable crabs. They were very questionable.
They were pretty spider crabby.
Yeah, I showed her, so I actually kept my game on pause. I had to go get my brother to get through that part because I honestly could not do it. I could not do it.
That part was only a few seconds long. Yeah, because you just had to walk through the cave and that was it. It was like a straight line. But I could see, I could see where you could have freaked out. I felt so bad after because I totally forgot about that part because it was such a short part. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm just going to end it off here. So, like, if there's any game someone recommends to me, I ask them if there are spiders in the game. If there are, I'm not going to play it.
Yeah, that's true.
For the most part.
What if the new patch for Genshin has spiders in the different?
Oh
worlds?
man, what's this, a spider waifu? A spider waifu, Riku. Come on.
Wow. Well, I guess I'll be playing going back to Among Us or something. I guess I won't play Genshin anymore.
Wait, do you watch anime, right, Riku? Did you watch Demon Slayer?
Ooh, I haven't.
No? Oh, you haven't watched Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Is there
I was gonna say
in
the
Demon
Spider
Slayer?
Family.
Oh no. Thank you for telling me. I'm not gonna watch it now. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're a nice person.
No, but they're humans though, but they're just spider humans.
More
kinda.
so with me, it's like it's like not all spiders, weirdly enough. It's just the freaking hair that like freaks me out. Like tarantulas.
The hair on the legs. It's not the actual legs, it's the hair on the legs.
It can be
But you have to watch Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is so good.
It is.
It's a really good anime. You really have to watch it.
Don't do this to me.
I agree.
All right, so we are 1 hour, 11 minutes into the podcast. I guess we'll just end it off there. So, Christine, do me a favor and plug every socials that you have. Tell the world where they can find you.
Where can everyone find your art, your amiibos, all that stuff?
Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. Yep.
MissGandaKris.
Yes.
They're all spelled out the same way, right?
All different. Nope. No. Okay.
You know what? Just Google MissGandaKris.
I mean, they just Google. It's gonna pop up eventually. You know what I'm saying? It's totally fine.
It's all gonna be in the description below.
That is true. But yes, thank you so much for being on our podcast, little sis, and as well as Sarah Knight. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
It was a lot of fun.
Sarah Knight, nice meeting you.
Episode 3 completed. Woo!
Woo!